It is day 69 of Trump's war in Iran, and tensions in the region remain high. Today, the UAE reported a new wave of attacks from Tehran, and the U.S. disabled 2 more Iranian tankers trying to break the blockade. Despite the bursts of violence, the president still insists that the ceasefire is holding, but Iran has yet to respond to a 1-page U.S. proposal for the sides to reopen the strait and cease hostilities for 30 days. Like, what in the world does a ceasefire mean is my question tonight. Meanwhile, the conflict is taking a toll on how voters feel about the economy. Consumer sentiment fell to its lowest level on record, according to the University of Michigan's latest report. Yet there is the president earlier this week telling us consumer confidence is way up. Well, let me just tell you again, like Michigan, it is not. One of the main reasons, gas prices. They now average $4.55 a gallon, and that right there is the truth. And if you don't want to believe me, no sweat. Go outside and check your local station. Now let's bring in our nightcap. Philip Bump is back, senior data editor and columnist for CT Insider. Mary Harris, host and managing editor of Slate's daily news podcast that you must listen to, What's Next? Political content creator, social media commentator, young superstar Harry Sisson. And a man who we devoted our last thing to earlier this week. A man who at this point needs no introduction.
Guys are...
Newly minted Pulitzer Prize winner Pablo Torre. He is an ESPN analyst and host of Meadowlark Media's Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast, which just won the award for their audio reporting of the LA Clippers salary cap scandal, which means I am thrilled for Pablo and NBA. I'm looking at you. Okay. Let's start. All of you.
There's a lot going on.
You know what? I almost say jump ball in honor of Pablo. In one word, describe the situation in the Gulf. Philippe?
I can do it in like 200. Poor is what I'd say. I mean, look, there's no way to describe it succinctly because it's a complex situation because it was entered into as though it wasn't going to be a complex situation, right? The president, the administration said, oh, look what happened in when we tried to get Nicolas Maduro. We went in, went out, we did it, it was perfect. Let's do the same thing in Iran. And it has not worked out that way. And so what we have is we have not a ceasefire but a stalemate, and the stalemate is going on indefinitely. And it doesn't seem as though the administration has a plan to get out of the stalemate because it doesn't seem as though they had a plan to get into the conflict.
Okay, so I've been using this word, turbo quagmire.
Okay, that's not even a word, but I'll let you have it. Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like we have speed run the worst things here.
Can you spell turbo quagmire?
Oh, don't make
There's a hyphen in it. Do it right now.
Okay, so back to it. Got it. Yeah.
We've speed run the worst consequences, right? And everyone can see it. Everyone is looking at their prices going up. And the thing that I think is going to be a challenge for the Trump administration is the fact that what voters see when they look at Trump putting his face on a passport, for instance, or doing the ballroom, is they see vanity projects and they don't like it because they hired him to lower their prices, if you ask a lot of them, right? What they see when they look at the war is the ultimate vanity project, right? It is a war for no reason that they see. It's never been articulated. The goals have never been articulated, and it is having a material cost in their lives.
Even when someone says finish the job, the question they have not answered is what exactly was the job?
Yeah.
In one word.
I think disaster. I mean, if you start in the Middle East, you are looking at a situation which Trump is actively describing as a ceasefire. He said that yesterday while standing in the reflecting pool. For some reason he was in there. He said there was a ceasefire, yet we're actively bombing Iranian ships. There is no ceasefire. He also said yesterday in the reflecting pool that we're days away from a deal. He's been saying that for how many weeks now, that we're days away from the deal. And you come back home here in the United States, prices are up. I mean, I have friends who are in college, who are just getting out of college. They want a job. And Gen Z has been beaten up for so many years now. And on top of all of that, housing prices are going up, gas prices are still going up, grocery prices are still going up, and the administration is kicking people off of health care. So in my one word, I just go disaster across the board.
You're getting a two-parter, but start with your word.
So my word, I'm going to do something clever here.
It's Pulitzer.
Guys, first off, hold on. I like how Harry was like, I have friends in college.
Yeah.
Dude is in college.
He's in college, yeah.
I don't know. You have a Pulitzer.
I am staring at my own mortality.
So
Sitting next to him is disturbing.
So true.
My word, my attempt at cleverness is going to be self-own. because it is totally self-inflicted.
Yeah.
And also, with my young friend here, cell phone, as in cell phone.
Oh, God, you're so clever.
Right? Look at what Trump is talking about online. They did the aliens thing today.
That's right.
I mean, how bad is it going? They're doing the aliens now. The notion that this was something that was further eroding.
Oh, the aliens thing. They're releasing.
The Department of War has released the alien files.
Correct.
Because we've all demanded.
You be the judge.
You be the judge.
But let's not be sassy. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
How can anyone with a straight face say yes? We're in a ceasefire. Like, when they even had to put the ceasefire in place several weeks ago, the whole thing was ceasefire. They're going to open the Strait of Hormuz. I think that lasted 1 hour and 32 minutes.
It was just a love tap.
I was going to say love tap.
By the way, vocabulary here has been quite relevant to the proceedings. What Trump is doing, though, beyond losing yet another core demo, people who did not want new foreign wars, he's also getting actively trolled by Iran. Like, the cell phone thing is real. Like, I don't think he fully appreciated how intractable Iran's foreign ministry historically is and how unbelievably effective they are at trolling him. It makes him look weak. It makes him look lost. It actually does shed voters. And so in terms of how does a ceasefire proceed when it's not really a ceasefire, none of this has a good exit plan. I don't know what you do here. I mean, if you're an advisor to him, Steph, frankly, I don't think there are good moves to make anywhere left on the board.
It's impossible to disagree with any of that, obviously, but I do think it's important to recognize the context in which Donald Trump operates, which is that he couldn't care less what any of the five of us think, right? He doesn't care. He probably doesn't care what the people watching on TV are thinking. He cares what his base thinks, and his base doesn't hear a lot of this discussion. They see what's airing on Fox News. They see the gas prices. The gas prices are a problem, and the gas prices are going to peel away support or soften support. But what they hear about Iran is the ceasefire. Yeah, there's a little bit, but they're still fighting, yada, yada, yada. They take him at his word, and his base has been consistently loyal, and that's always been the issue for Democrats and opponents of Donald Trump is how do you get those people to peel away from him? And the thing that has done it so far is that gas prices are up, and I think we should all recognize that if there is a resolution which is enough that Donald Trump can save enough face and gas prices start to go back down, his numbers are going to go back up as a result of that.
Okay, well, let's just say Iran looks at his one-page proposal and says, yeah, no. Then what? Like, for real, where do we go?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of us.
And let's be clear. We hope this gets resolved and hope it gets resolved
100%.
soon.
But I guess I want to talk to Philip about what you just said.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure that the entire base isn't noticing what's happening and is completely loyal, right? Like, I feel like to become a president in this country, you have to assemble a coalition of people who don't quite make sense altogether. And so there are certainly peelable people. And I do think you are seeing some of those people begin to peel now. Now, I mean, does that hold? We have 2 more years here, right? I don't know. But the thing that's remarkable to me looking at this moment is how little Donald Trump seems to care about the fact that his approval ratings are approaching George W. Bush heading out of office.
But he doesn't pay attention to that. And you're right that you need a coalition to win, but you need that coalition in November 2024.
Right.
You don't need that coalition today. And he doesn't pay attention to that coalition today, which is why he enters Iran and why he doesn't worry about gas prices. And what he says to them is, hey, CNN had this poll where I have 100% approval, which of course is a total misread
Among
on
the
everything.
MAGA base.
Yeah, exactly. The self-identified MAGA voters. And that's what he pays attention to. And that's what all of this, he's surrounded by cronies and allies, people who agree with him and tell him what he wants to hear because he weeded out everyone else.
Yeah.
And this is where he is.
But it's interesting, right? So, admittedly, when Joe Rogan gets face-to-face with him at a UFC event, Joe Rogan is not pushing back on the whole no new foreign wars thing that he's otherwise trumpeting, right? But I do think it's interesting. If you're online enough, you know that a big bunch of Trump supporters on the internet, among the men, traffic in conspiracy.
Sure.
And one of the theories that has something resembling actual grounding is Israel's role in this war. And so the notion that Trump is now shedding that part, the part that is saying, wait a minute, what about this? This is speaking now to a conspiracy I also believe. I don't know electorally, to Philip's point, whether this will hold in 2 years, but I think we're seeing a coalition falling apart in ways that reflect an incoherence of what Trump's vision was supposed to be. It was never about this, and now he just kind of seems bored on the internet. Like he's not even really campaigning on this war anymore.